And even there's the ageism thing too that kicks in, where you've got a situation. I had a conversation with an ex-employee literally just this evening on the way home. He's 65. He's applying for jobs and he's getting interviews, but then he finds it strange. Like, he knows he can do the job on its ear. It's well and truly within his capabilities, but he's not getting any further. And the irony is the job's getting re-advertised. He's reapplying for the same job he's been interviewed for, and he's still not getting any further. But they're not appointing anyone because they can't find anyone for the job. But what they're basically saying is they don't want to hire him, even though they can't say it because he's 65.
With 30 years experience in auto logistics and state-of-the-art locations in 5 major Australian cities, Precar Fleet Services are a premier all-in-one solutions provider for commercial vehicle fleet operators, leasing companies and original equipment manufacturers. Please visit precar.com.au and click on the link to Fleet Services.
So these challenges, how do you build resilience around that? What are the skills? What are the attributes? And what are the strategies? Because you're the master of strategy, George. What are the strategies around that resilience? Because you're one of the most resilient people I've ever met. And John's probably the second most resilient person I've ever met.
The older groups in the community now, like your man of 65, depending on his skill set, if he was to work on his emotional intelligence, I don't know what his vocation is, so I'm going blind a bit here, but if he can't get a job, then instead of sending out 75 letters for jobs at his age, I would tell him right now, he should use 75 letters to send out to get business for himself and go out as a consultant specialising in his area that he knows, and he will make more money and get off and running faster by becoming a small business consultant. Now, that's what the people at this age group, that's what they've got to do it. It's a bit like changing a paradigm. You know what a paradigm is? It's a belief system. People in business at the moment that you described at the start of our session have got to pivot. They've got to be flexible. Above all, they've got to have courage and conviction, believe in themselves, and they've got to sort of reinvent themselves. They've got to change their paradigm. Now, that's really tough for a lot of people, and they need help to do it, mostly, but they need to grow a new set of skills, if I can say it like that. They need to invent a new set of skills. I went to China some years ago. What they did was they revered me, but they revere wisdom. They had me speak at universities. They picked me up in limos. They took me for dinner. They worshipped the ground I walked on. Why? Because I had wisdom and knowledge. That's all. I wasn't big, but that's nothing to what they wanted. They wanted somebody with this bit here for above the eyes. So today, the older person today has to value what's above his eyes more than he ever did. And they've probably never been spoken to like I just have then. Never been. Because people would go, I can't say that to him. I can't say that to my mate. I can't say that. He'll be offended.
Actually, George, why is it that the Western world has this predisposition to park or retire off 55-year-olds and plus?
I'll answer it in a couple of ways. The Asian population, by and large, have their parents living with them when they have their kids, when they get married. So who's the book of being a parent? The parents. So the grandparents train and coach the young parents in how to be a parent. Now, when we go to America, are good at that too, I might add. They're good. You got Warren Buffett at 93 running a company. You got plenty of them over there. They're good at doing that, especially Australia's bad at it. Terrible. Certainly, we want to put them in a nursing home. We don't want to employ them. And I think it's part of it, in my answer to you, is because we threaten the young people. That's the reason, I think. It's also a bit to do with economics. I think there's only so many people in the workforce in Australia. It's a country that's the same size geographically as North America, but it's got the population of New York. So the balancing act in economics, probably difficult. We've got to have workforce, got to have people coming through the workforce to get jobs. I actually think the computers has ruined many lives and many of the medial tasks in the world aren't being done. And so we've workforce now that's got nothing to do. And AI, if that comes in as much as it could, then that could really affect mankind, if I say it like that, and the creative juices of people, because they'll get lazy. So 3 things control people: lazy, easy, greedy. People want to lie back in a hammock, right? They want to have a mint julep served to them. and they want to make as much money as they can without getting out of bed. Well known, if you get into Maslow's hierarchy, that the best these older people will feel, and it happened during COVID, that the best people felt with their well-being was when they were in level 4 and 5, which is self-esteem, displaying your abilities and skills, and level 5 especially, imagining, creating and being self-motivated on a project. Whether it was writing a book, learning painting, learning a language, they were in the best mental condition. So you're talking about mental resilience. Once you're level 3, which is social recognition, join in and belong to groups, communicate and talk. So that's why teams and clubs are important at the minute for people in that age group. They've really got to understand, and you can't just do it by phone or by Zoom. The real beneficial is face-to-face, watching body language, eyes move, having the dress for success, if you want to use that. As soon as you let that happen as the norm, in my opinion, you're on a sliding scale to mediocrity. You've got to continually make your bed. That's not my line. That's a line of an American naval admiral, where he says the first thing he teaches his guys at the SEALs is to make their bed. Otherwise, you just get out and that'll do. No, she's not. No. You've got to make your bed. But what I mean by that is that you've got to continually strive for excellence. Mediocrity is easy. You just have to get out of bed. But to be excellent, you've got to study. You've got to be committed. You've got to be disciplined. I was on radio for 10 years. I had to write my programs in one day for the next month. One Monday in the month, I shut the door, turn off the phones, and would write the next month's programs. And if I didn't do that, then I wasn't on radio. You've got to have a goal that you can reach, not up here, a goal that you can reach to say, I can do that. If it's too far out of your reach, you'll give up. So it's got to be a goal that's smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time sensitive. Smart goals work. Those that aren't smart don't work. And too many people try to be, I want to climb Mount Everest. Yeah, righto. Well, that's good. You might, but it's got to be achievable and realistic. So people that you've described tonight really need, I reckon, 3 ingredients to help them succeed. 1 is to be open to change by fine-tuning themselves. 2 is to be time management, disciplined. And 3 is to study something new, like emotional intelligence, which you can't touch, feel and smell, you see. This is why the leaders of the future could be in trouble, because unless you've got emotional intelligence, which you can't, how do you touch, I'm self-aware? How do you touch, I can influence people? You can't try it on. You can't drive it around the block. No, it's all attitudinal. So unless you're prepared to do those 3 things and change your attitude, the way of the future for leaders, in my opinion, is to look in the mirror and look in it and see who they are and analyse themselves, do a SWOT on themselves, work out their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and come up with 5 goals for the next 3 years. They've got to really do some of that stuff. So they've got to be flexible, they've got to learn more, and they've got to fine-tune themselves. That's where I think the future leaders